Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we're looking at the AT-AT, or the Imperial Walker. And this toy is from the Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. So let's take this guy over to my toy studio and get a closer look at him. Come on. Alright guys, here we are today with a toy from the Star Wars Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. This is an AT-AT, or an AT-AT, or an Imperial Walker. I know there's some debate out there in the fan community about the proper terminology to use for this vehicle, but for today's purposes, we're just going to call it an AT-AT. That's what I've called it since I was a small child. So that's what I'm going to stick with. If you feel it's inappropriate, I apologize, but that's what we're going to stick with today. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Micro Machines toy collection, what that was they're a company that makes very small toys. So there's two kinds of Micro Machines you can buy. You can buy the very small ones, which are about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. They're very tiny little, almost as small as a Matchbox car. And then they came out with this line called the Action Fleet Collection, which you're looking at here. And they're a little bit bigger toys. They're about 5 to 6 inches, depending on which one you get. And these all came out in the mid to late 90s. And just to give you context and scale, here is a 3 3/4 inch Stormtrooper figure. So you kind of can see the size of these things. I know sometimes on camera it's tough to get the scale of something, especially in a video like this. But this is, of course, the AT-AT, the Imperial Walker, and each one of these vehicles came with anywhere from 2 to 5 little tiny action figures. And that's one of the reasons I enjoy this toy line so much. The piloting compartments and driving seats and everything like that, they actually open up, and there's little tiny figures in there. And I just think it's kind of a novelty, but I think it's a neat little feature. And it's one of the reasons I enjoy this toy line so much. So real quick here, let's take a look at this guy. And as you can see, he's standing on this little pad here, and it's kind of for display only. Now the ships and everything, they come with a stand that you can display it on. And of course you can't do that with an AT-AT. So they just have it's a little base plate that you put the front 2 feet in. So it kind of looks like it's walking up a slight incline. And he does come out of the stand. I'll show you guys that here in a second, or the display. But I just want to spin this guy around so you can get a look at him. And here we'll look at this in a little bit more, but you can see there's a little tiny compartment there. You can open up a little cargo door. And the legs do move on this thing, but there is a limit to the movement, and I'll go through that with you here, guys. So there he is, and here's how the little display stand works. So you just lift him out of there, and we'll put him over there for now. Okay, so he does stand without it. You can do it. But this is what it looks like, and as you can see, there's a little outline of his feet there. So you just line the feet up with the outline, and he is in position. But it doesn't snap in or anything like that. If you pick the vehicle up while it's on the stand, it's just going to come right out. But it's really for display purposes only. And you can see we have the Action Fleet logo there. Okay, so just taking a little bit closer look at this guy. He does have some moving parts, and we'll go through that here with you. So as you can see, the legs do move. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's movement here. So they do move up here where it's connected to the body, but unlike in the movies and some of the other toys, there is no, I guess what you would call the knee joint for the AT-AT. That does not move. They're locked into that position. The feet do not move at all. The only movement you have on the arm is up here where it's connected to the body. So you can move the legs and do stuff like that, but that's about the extent of it. And you can see they're kind of pre-bent into a position where you're gonna have to, if you're gonna stand him, he's gonna be stepping like that. And then so also when you put him up on the display like this, you got to kind of work the legs a little bit because the front legs are going a little bit higher. And then he's going to sit like that. So it looks like he's stepping up a little bit. So just so you know, there's no knee movement in the AT-AT, but the legs do move a little bit. Okay, and so then looking at the head here, so you do have a little bit of head movement. You get a little up and down wiggle, not much. And there's a little bit of side to side movement, but not a whole bunch. Okay, so also what you have on here, if you look, of course it has all the blaster cannons on the front. The bottom ones underneath here, they do not move or anything like that. They're stationary. But the ones on the side of the head here, they do rotate. So you can spin them around, and they are flexible. So there's less concern of breaking them. But so there is movement. You can aim the side blasters. And it works that way on both of them. Okay. So from there, if you look at the top of the head, you can see there's a little tiny door cut out. So what you're going to do is you kind of got to stick your fingernail into that little slot there. And hopefully my nails are long enough. There we go. So it just pulls up. No buttons or levers or anything like that. And if you look in there, there is an Imperial AT-AT driver. And he does come out here. So let's see if we can't get him out. There we go. They're very tiny figures, so it's kind of hard to get your finger in there and to pull them out. But here's what the figure looks like. He's very small. This guy's probably about an inch to an inch and a quarter tall. And he does have some basic movements. And let me run through that with you real quick. So the way these figures are designed, the arms and legs are one solid piece. So if you move one arm, you're going to move both arms. And the same thing with the legs. The legs are connected at the feet. You can see there. And so when you move one leg, you're moving both of them. So due to the size, because these guys are so small, there's limitations to how much movement and detail they can put into them. But for the size of the figure, and once again, just for scale and context, you get the idea. I think they did a fairly good job of getting detail on these things. Okay. Now looking at the other side, or the back body half of the Imperial Walker, or the AT-AT, you can see also there's another little door here that opens on the side. And so what you're going to do with that, same thing, there's no button or lever or anything. You're just going to kind of stick your finger in there, and I'm going to have to pop it open with something. There we go. Okay, so you just pull it down, and you can see there's a little door with a little tiny handrail that comes down. And as you can see, the other figure this vehicle comes with is in there. It's an Imperial snowtrooper. And let's see if we can get him out of there. Okay. But before we get into looking at him, you can see, well, I'm trying to get light to shine into the compartment here. But I can assure you, I know it's dark in there. There's nothing in there. It's just like a little tiny box. It goes back to about right here and probably about right here. And other than that, it's just like a little box in there. There's no other vehicles or control panels or anything like that in there. I'm trying to get the light to shine in there. And it's just a little hard on camera. So, all right, there he is with the door open, all the hatches open. That's what he looks like. Okay, and then so the other figure you're going to get when you purchase this vehicle is right here. This is an Imperial snowtrooper from The Empire Strikes Back. And it's the same thing. He's a little tiny figure. His arms are one piece. So if you move one arm, you're moving both. And he moves at the hips as well. So you can seat him in the AT-AT's driving compartment if you want. Oops. Little tiny guys. But for today's purposes, we'll keep him in the cargo hold with the troops. But once again, as I was saying, just for the pure size of these figures, they're very, very small. I think they did a really good job with the detail. And there you can get a look at his blaster. Very cool. All right, so there he is. Your Imperial Snowtrooper. All right, so we're just going to put him back in the cargo hold, and there's plenty of room in there for him, so we're just going to seat him in there. No problem. And close him back up, and you will hear a snap sound. There you go. Okay, and then we have the driver. And once again, you just want to put him in the seated position, like so, and he will slide right in there. Oops. And you just close the compartment on him. All right. Okay, and we'll put the feet back in the stand, and very easy, you line the feet up with the outline. Alright guys, there it is from the Star Wars Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. This is the Imperial Walker, or the AT-AT. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Bye.